Lidl is booming in Britain. More customers, more stores, more market share. And yet, more and more shoppers are asking the same question. Why does shopping at Lidl feel worse than it used to? Parking fines, a loyalty scheme that suddenly costs more to use. Empty promotional shelves, long queues with barely anyone on the tills, small things on their own. Shoppers keep bringing them up anyway. And here's the strange part. Lidl is still growing. So what exactly is going wrong? Tonight, we're looking at the gap between Lidl's record-breaking growth and what customers are actually experiencing inside its stores. It's a gap that's easy to miss if all you look at is the quarterly sales figures, because those numbers only measure how many people walked through the door, not how they felt on the way out. 9 problems, 1 pattern. Let's start counting down. First, number 1. The parking trap nobody warns you about. Start with something that has nothing to do with what's on the shelves. Lidl doesn't run most of its own car parks anymore. It contracts them out to private enforcement firms. Parking Eye, Athena, ANPR, Smart Parking, and those firms make their money from tickets, not goodwill. The standard setup: a 90-minute to 2-hour limit, number plate cameras, fines of £70 to £100 for anyone who overstays. Sounds fair enough, until you look at how people are actually getting caught. At one site, a lorry knocked a camera out of alignment. It kept firing off penalty notices anyway. Dozens of drivers got fined for doing nothing wrong. At another, shoppers had to scan their receipt at a separate machine to validate their stay. A step nobody mentions at the till. Pay in cash, don't know the rule, and a £90 letter lands on your doormat for the crime of buying your shopping and leaving. None of this shows up in a quarterly results statement, but it shows up in a shopper's memory every time. A 5-minute browse for milk turns into a genuine financial risk. And unlike a council car park where the rules are set by someone accountable to local residents, this is a private company paid per ticket. There's no incentive to be forgiving about a damaged camera or an unmarked scanner. And even the appeals process works against you. Industry rules require a 10-minute grace period beyond the advertised limit, but most shoppers have no idea that rule exists, let alone how to invoke it. If the first ticket doesn't get cancelled, the next step is an independent adjudicator, POPLA for one set of operators, IAS for another. A process most people have never heard of until a letter with a fine on it lands on their doormat. Then there's the problem nobody sees coming. Next up, at number 2, a loyalty app that got worse the bigger it got. Lidl Plus was, for years, the best-loved loyalty scheme in British grocery. Simple coupons, generous thresholds, no gimmicks. Then Lidl rolled out a new points-based system. The backlash was immediate. Under the old scheme, a shopper needed to spend around £10 to earn a free bakery item. Under the new one, that same reward needs roughly £70. That's not a tweak. That's a 7-fold increase in what loyalty actually costs you, dressed up as more personalised value. Lidl's defence leaned on a 60% jump in investment into personalised coupons. But personalised is doing a lot of work in that sentence, because it means 2 shoppers buying the same basket can be shown completely different offers based on what the algorithm thinks they'll respond to. Shoppers notice the maths within days. Plenty said, publicly, they take their loyalty to Tesco instead. Others pointed out that the old scheme let a coupon be redeemed the moment it was earned, while the new points system asks shoppers to bank up a balance first, which quietly delays the reward even for people willing to hit the new spending threshold. And the timing made it worse. This landed while Lidl was actively boasting about record customer numbers, so the backlash played out on the same channels the company uses to promote its growth. There's a quieter issue sitting underneath the points row too. To get those personalised offers at all, the app openly tracks what you buy and how you use it, building a profile of your habits in exchange for the coupons. Most shoppers accept that trade without reading the small print. Fewer of them expected the trade to get worse at the same time. Now look at what happens inside the store. At number 3, one till open, a trolley behind you, and no one coming. Walk into a busy Lidl on a Saturday and there's a decent chance you'll find a bank of self-checkouts, one staff till, and a queue snaking back into the aisles. Nobody's coming to open a second lane. This isn't bad luck. It's what happens when a business built on lean staffing keeps leaning further while its customer count keeps climbing. Self-checkouts work brilliantly for a basket of 4 items. They work terribly for a full weekly shop, and more middle-income households are doing exactly that at Lidl now. Picture someone wrestling a trolley load through a machine built for a handbasket, while the one staffed lane backs up behind them. Self-service was supposed to free up staff for other jobs. In practice, it's just moved the labour from the till workers' hands to the customers and charged them the same price for it. It's also changed what quick trip means. A shop that used to be genuinely faster than the Big Four for a small basket now sometimes takes just as long because the fast lane is the one everyone's crowding into. For older shoppers or anyone with mobility issues, this isn't a minor inconvenience. It's the difference between a shop they can manage alone and one they now have to plan around. And this problem is only getting bigger because more than 3 in 5 UK households now shop at Lidl, at least occasionally. The customer base has grown faster than the till count has. But there's a catch. At number 4, the deal that isn't there when you arrive. Half-price chocolate, reduced eggs, a flash offer plastered across the app the night before. You get to the shelf and there's nothing there. The promotion started before the stock did. It's one of the most repeated complaints against Lidl right now, and it's a sharp one, because Lidl's own marketing is creating the disappointment. A shop that never advertised a deal can't frustrate you by running out of it. A shop that pushes a notification to your phone, gets you in the car, and then shows you an empty shelf has turned its own promotional machine against itself. It's a distribution problem wearing a marketing wins clothes. Shoppers are the ones stuck absorbing the gap. And it's not a one-off either. The app's own Rewards of the Week feature is built to pull shoppers in on the promise of a specific bargain, which means every time the shelf doesn't match the app, it's the app itself that sent them there. Quick reality check. None of this is really about a single fine or a single point scheme or one empty shelf. It's about what happens when a handful of small frustrations stack up in the same week. Here's another one. At number 5, what's in the basket isn't always what you expected. Even when the shelf is stocked, what comes home isn't always consistent. Fresh produce that's gone soft within a day. Meat that customers say is already turning before the use-by date. A frozen pizza one reviewer described as looking like someone had thrown a handful of topping on it. None of this makes Lidl unique. Every supermarket has quality slip-ups. What makes it land harder here is the promise underneath it. This was meant to be the shop where fewer choices bought you better value on quality, not simply a lower number on the price tag. The whole appeal was built around a deliberately limited range, fewer brands, fewer variations, and less time spent choosing between almost identical products. In return, customers were supposed to get strong quality at prices that felt genuinely competitive. The trade-off was straightforward. You gave up some choice, but you trusted Lidl to make the choice worthwhile for you. That distinction matters because if the quality advantage starts to disappear while the range expands and prices move closer to mainstream supermarkets, the original bargain becomes much harder to justify. A smaller range was always supposed to mean tighter control over what actually made it onto the shelf. Fewer suppliers, closer checks, less room for a bad batch to slip through unnoticed. When the quality wobbles, the whole trade-off stops making sense. And it shows up in the numbers, not just the anecdotes. Lidl's independent review scores on sites like Trustpilot sit around 2.4 out of 5, based on hundreds of ratings, a figure dragged down almost entirely by exactly this kind of complaint. The bigger issue comes next. At number 6, faulty goods, slow answers. Lidl's non-food range, the kitchen gadgets, the electricals, the seasonal specials in the middle aisle, is a genuine part of why people love the shop. But when something breaks and it's covered by warranty, getting it sorted has become a sore point. Customers describe being told a case will be looked at within 10 days. Then silence. They chase again. Still silence, weeks later. The appeal of Lidl's non-food aisle was always great price, worth the punt. The moment a faulty item means a dead end instead of a fix, that appeal starts to erode. To be fair, this isn't a food safety story. Warranty delays are an administrative failure, not a dangerous one. But it's exactly the kind of failure that's easy to overlook from head office because no single case looks urgent on its own. It only looks like a pattern once you line up hundreds of them side by side. But administrative failures scale badly because the more customers a business serves, the more of them are sitting in that same silence at once. It's not just warranty cases either. Customers trying to reach Lidl by phone to escalate a complaint routinely describe getting nowhere, funneled instead toward an online form with no clear timeline attached to it. Now forget the car parks for a second. At number 7, growing faster than the standard can travel. Lidl is mid-expansion, over 50 new stores in a single year, part of a wider £600 million investment, with a longer-term target north of 1,000 shops nationally. On its own, that's a sign of a confident, healthy business. But retail has a rule that doesn't care how confident head office feels. Consistency gets harder to hold onto with every new site you open. A brand builds its reputation store by store over decades on the idea that the trolley, the layout, the price on the shelf feels the same in Yorkshire as it does in Kent. The faster new stores open, the more that consistency gets tested in real time. Reviews already show the split, glowing praise for one branch, genuine frustration at another a few miles down the road for what's supposedly the same shop. New staff need the same training as staff who've been doing this a decade. New layouts need bedding in. Stock ordering systems calibrated for an established store don't automatically know how a brand new one will actually sell, which is part of why some of the empty shelf complaints cluster around recently opened branches rather than the long-running ones. And 50 ribbon cuttings make it easy for head office to look past the cracks. New openings come with their own pressure too. Lidl has been running batches of launches, sometimes close to 20 stores in a single 8-week stretch, each one promising free food samples and prizes on opening day. That's a great way to fill a car park on day one. It's a much harder standard to hold once the cameras and the crowds have gone home. Put those two things together and the picture changes. At number 8, 2 enormous bills landing at the same time. Lidl is pouring £250 million into cutting prices on more than 1,000 products. At the same time, it's spending £600 million opening new stores. Same financial year. Told separately, both are good news. Stacked together, that's nearly £1 billion of spending at once, while food inflation is still running close to 4%, and costs like employer national insurance are climbing too. None of that means Lidl is in trouble. Its sales growth is strong enough to support it, but the margin for error has gotten thinner right when the company is opening the most stores it ever has. And thin margins are exactly when small problems stop getting fixed quickly, because the money and attention are pointed at expansion, not polish. This isn't a debt story the way a leveraged buyout is. Lidl isn't servicing borrowed billions like some of its rivals. But every pound has to work harder now. And that pressure doesn't show up in the boardroom first. It shows up on the shop floor. It's worth remembering this isn't happening in a calm market either. UK shop price inflation has been climbing again, food prices up close to 4% year on year at the start of this year, the fastest pace in almost 2 years. Lidl isn't just spending against its own ambitions, it's spending into headwinds the entire industry is feeling at once. Which brings us to the one complaint that actually explains all the others. At number 9, customers are doing the maths themselves now. For years, Lidl's whole appeal was that shoppers didn't need to think too hard. Walk in, it's cheap, walk out. That's changing. Shoppers are now comparing the Lidl Plus points threshold against Tesco Clubcard. They're weighing whether skipping the queue at Aldi beats whatever coupon might be waiting this week. They're timing their browse of the middle aisle against the car park clock. None of that used to be part of the decision. It was simple. Best price, right products, convenient location. Now it's checkout speed, personalised discounts, and parking risk, all rolled into one calculation. The entire point of a discounter was that you didn't need a spreadsheet to shop there. The moment loyal shoppers start running one anyway, the brand has lost something that no amount of store openings can buy back. And that's the trap growth doesn't fix on its own. Every one of the 9 points tonight is small by itself. A parking letter here, a slow warranty reply there, a point scheme that quietly asks for more spending. None of them would make headlines alone. Stacked together across millions of weekly shops, they add up to exactly the kind of quiet erosion that a rising market share chart is very good at hiding, right up until the reviews catch up with it. If this helped you make better decisions, subscribe and stay tuned. There's a lot more of this series coming. quick one before we continue. I've spent years standing in supermarket aisles so you don't have to, and the supermarket method distills all of it into one simple guide you can use on every shopping trip. Scan the QR code on your screen, grab your copy, and let's get back to Lidl. Now, here's what Lidl is still getting right. Here's the part that surprised me though. For everything above, there's a reason Lidl is growing rather than shrinking, and shoppers deserve to hear that side too. Start with the price cuts. That £250 million isn't a press release number sitting untouched in a boardroom. It's already landed on real shelves. Cheddar down from £2.79 to £2.49, cherries down from £2.29 to £1.39, beef quarter pounders cut by 60 pence. Whatever else is going wrong at the edges, the actual number on the actual price tag is genuinely moving in the shopper's favour, at a moment when plenty of rivals are moving theirs the other way. Shop price inflation has been creeping back up this year, food especially. A supermarket actively cutting rather than raising prices on staples like bread, milk and eggs is a rare thing to find on any high street right now. It's not just the headline offers either. Lidl has also put £43 million into upgrading existing stores, faster tills, more freezer space, wider product ranges, spending on the shops people already use, not just the ones still being built. Then there's the growth itself. A business doesn't commit £600 million to new stores when it's worried about the next quarter. Lidl expanding aggressively while food inflation still bites is, read the right way, a vote of confidence from the people who know their own numbers best. More stores means more people within easy reach of the cheapest full shop in Britain, including smaller towns a bigger, slower rival might never have bothered with. And this isn't a one-year blip. Lidl's market share has climbed steadily for years, from around 5.4% before the cost of living crisis to well over 8% now, which means the record growth we opened with isn't a lucky quarter. It's a trend line that's held for the better part of a decade. Rivals with far bigger marketing budgets haven't managed the same steady climb, and even the app is still pulling people in. Lidl Plus grew its user base by over 25% year on year through the last major shopping season, backlash and all. That's not a loyalty scheme in decline, it's one going through a rocky rebuild while still adding members faster than most rivals' programs. And to its credit, Lidl hasn't gone quiet about the criticism, it's responded publicly rather than ignoring it, which suggests somebody at head office is actually reading the complaints. That response matters more than it might seem, because plenty of large retailers let a backlash like this play out for weeks before saying anything at all. So here's where that leaves us. Lidl isn't a business in crisis. It's a business scaling faster than its own systems can keep pace with, and the friction customers feel is what that gap looks like from the shopper's side of the till. The prices are still good. The stores are still coming. What's slipping is harder to put a number on. The feeling that Lidl had your back, not just your basket. That's not the kind of thing that shows up in a set of quarterly results. It only shows up in whether people keep coming back out of habit or start coming back out of a lack of anywhere better. The scanner still beeps just as fast as it always did. The question is, does Lidl still feel like the bargain it used to? Subscribe for more UK supermarket investigations.